Alright there guys, how's it going? This is Osrs Revived coming back again with another video. Today what we are going to be discussing is something that was posted up on Reddit yesterday. So this was posted up by Mad Aiza as a potential Revenant reward. So this is something that is pretty big. So we have to take our time with looking at this, and we have to really think about how this would affect members and free-to-play as a whole. So they're talking about bringing Corrupt, Dragon, Skimtar, and 2H back to Osrs. So amongst many of the ideas in the Revenant Cave Reward rework blog, I'd like to gather your thoughts on the Corrupt, Dragon, Skimtar, and 2H Sword, both usable in free-to-play. They would be the exact same as their standard counterparts in terms of stats and level requirements, but they would also have no quest requirements. Would you want to see this as a drop from Revenants? What reward would you get for killing someone with the item? And should they fully degrade to dust? If so, they would last 30 minutes in combat. So if this all passes, they'd be willing to pull opening the Revenant Caves up to free-to-play as well. There would be obviously restrictions of non-members items as drops for members only. NPCs being in there would also be allowed for would allow free-to-play players to have a way of earning the items rather than only being able to buy them. So the blog for this is due to go live next week, and as of right now, I personally don't think we have enough information from that post to fully give our opinion on it as of right now, but it just gives you the idea on how it would work. So they're talking about bringing in corrupt weapons. Obviously, this here is from RS3. I know that not many people like the idea of RS3 weapons coming into OSRS, as a lot of people feel that it would mean we're going down the same path RS3 went. And I don't see that happening for us. OSRS is 07. Okay, so we have to take that in mind. We are not going to be upgrading the graphics or changing the combat, how combat works. Everything like that is staying the same. Just because a weapon or armor or some type of content is going from RS3 to OSRS does not mean we're going down the same path they did. So that is something that everyone should understand. I hope everybody understands, although I know there's a small group inside of the community that personally believe with all of their heart and mind that OSRS will go down the same path. But with that being said, a couple things I want to touch base on is how this would affect free-to-play as a whole, the drop table for free-to-play, and then using the timer for the weapon to degrade instead of the hits, like the tentacle, at the GP per hour for free-to-play. Does Revenant Caves fit into free-to-play at all? And does corrupt, Jesus, I'll be able to talk soon. Does corrupt weapons have a place in OSRS? And should the corrupt weapons have the same stats as Dragon? Because that is something I do personally believe need to be looked at. But we'll get into that later on in this video. So let's start off with how would this affect free-to-play as a whole? So in my personal opinion, free-to-play is its own game entirely. Okay, you cannot compare free-to-play to members PKing. The way the free-to-play players look at PKing is it's a fun way to try to get a little bit of extra cash. Obviously, you're training for members PKing in that sense, so that has to be looked at. And bringing in something like a corrupt weapon, I personally believe is a good idea to add to the mix, but I don't like how they're bringing it in. So with PKing being different, what I mean by that is, yes, you have your 1v1 fights at Edge, and as of right now with the new PK world, all over RuneScape. But how free-to-play works is there's a strong clan community in free-to-play. There's a lot of arguments saying that free-to-play clanning is bigger than members clanning, but that is something that is kind of a both-sided. I personally believe they're the exact same with how they show it. I guess like there's a lot of free-to-play clans right now in RuneScape, and there's a lot of member clans right now in RuneScape. So if they add this weapon, they really have to talk to the free-to-play community and not just members community. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people right now in free-to-play who don't plan on going members, or if they go members, they're using it via bonds. They might not be spending their actual money. So how would the corrupt weapons being added to Revenant Caves and even having Revenant Caves added to free-to-play change that? Obviously, free to play is basically half or a quarter of the actual game. So you're opening up a new world. Well, I personally love the idea of seeing new content come to free to play, but I don't think Revenant Caves is the way to go. So if Revenant Caves come into free to play, what is the drop table going to be? Because as of right now, the drop table of the Revenants in members is, I don't even think it's finished. They are still planning. I personally believe they're planning to make more changes to it. They want to add more stuff to Revenants itself. And I think bringing it to free to play is where they feel like they have the opportunity to make something a little bit different. And I don't think they're looking at it from a good perspective. So with the drops, what is the Revenants going to drop for free to play? Will it drop Rune Armor? Will it drop logs, Willow, Maple, jugs of wine, like lobsters, swordfish? Like, there's going to have to be 100% rework of the Revenant Caves in order for it to go free to play, right? If they decide to add the Corrupted Dragon Skimtar and 2H as a reward, there's kind of an issue with that itself, because they are only allowing a 30-minute timer in combat. So with that being said, should the combat, like 30-minute combat, should that be changed to a hit ratio, like the tentacle whip, or should they leave the timer in? I don't like the 30-minute timer on the weapon at all. But within saying that, I do believe the only reason why they have a 30-minute timer on the weapon itself instead of like a total hit is because they just want it to be used in PvP. So it's kind of a sticky situation. Where they have the timer on it for just 30 minutes instead of saying, okay, here's your weapon, here's 500 hits, go have fun. They're giving you a set time that you can actually wield the weapon until it fully degrades to dust. 30-minute timer is kind of an issue. If they would probably say an hour or 2 hours, sure, maybe that would be a little bit different. But just 30 minutes in combat is not exactly a very long time, so it's a bit of an issue within itself. They're limiting themselves by saying 30 minutes. Obviously, I'm willing to bet they're willing to change it if the community wants it changed at all. But it's still like a weird situation to have a weapon that's just PvP related. It can't really be used in PvM or PvE. It can be, because of the 30-minute timer is not just in a PvP area. It's 30 minutes in combat. So unless they wanted to say you can have the weapons in free to play, you can use it for as long as you want for training, but if you're using it in PvP, you have 30 minutes. Or they could say, here's the weapon, you have 1 hour time, but if you use it to attack another player, you have 30 minutes. And if they wanted to work it that way, kind of like the Iban staff, where the charges are halved, I'm okay with that. But I would like to see the weapon come into the game and actually have its own place, not just be, okay, it's in the game, this is what it's being used for, and it don't really get anything out of it. So it's a sticky situation that they have the weapon put in before it's even released. That's my opinion anyway. So with that, does corrupt weapons have a place in OSRS? Like, obviously it's from an RS3 update, but, well, it was RS2, it was when it was brought in. It was before EOC, I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correct. But they took the idea that's still in RS3. So does the corrupt weapon itself have a place in OSRs? Personally, I feel it does. Like, it's just another weapon. I just think they need to lower the requirements for it a little bit down to 50 and lower the stats. I don't think they should have the same stats as the Skimtar or a 2H or anything like that. But I guess it what the player wants. I don't think it's a good idea. I feel like it would come back and it wouldn't work out so well. But that's just my opinion. And with the corrupt weapons coming in to OSRs, does the Rev Caves fit in free-to-play? Right? Like, I know I previously talked about how the Rev Caves, they're high combat, they're high HP, and currently the weapons in free-to-play, they're going to have to change revenants drastically. Alright? They're going to have to lower their defenses, lower the HP, and lower their combat. So, does it fit in free-to-play? Like, these are supposed to be strong enemies that you're facing in the wilderness. So you always have a chance to be attacked. You always have a chance of a clan coming and jumping on you and killing you. So does that fit in free-to-play? I know I previously talked about how free-to-play PKing is pretty big. But does a Rev Cave scenario fit? You don't have any long freezes. You don't have a TB. And so, is there a PK potential? And within that, the way they have the Revenants set up was if you want to escape, you have to have a high agility. If you get TB'd, if you gotta get away, you either run north up into like 40 wilderness and then you run south and hope you can get away, or you have to have high agility and you have to jump the obstacles. And agility is a members only skill. So do they plan to just allow you to walk where, like, a path where the agility obstacles are currently located? Or do they plan on keeping the agility obstacles there? And if that's the case, Revenant Caves are going to be so stupid in free-to-play. Because you have to run a very far distance to get away. You obviously don't have stamina pots, but you do have the energy potions, but you're not going to want to waste 5 inventory spaces on energy pots just to get away from one scenario. So with that all being said, I don't think there's currently enough information out for us to give our full-on opinions and say, yes, I want this in the game, or no, I do not. Until the blog comes out next week, we don't really know much, right? So we obviously have to wait for a drop table announcement. I would personally love to see them change the timer into hits, and just to see if the corrupt weapons would actually pass a poll. Currently, the Reddit post has 76% upvoted, so it would pass a poll at the current stage. But it's going to make a really big difference once it gets added to the game and people who don't go on Reddit can vote for it. So I do think they have to let us in on why they plan on bringing it to free-to-play, why they plan on bringing the corrupt dragon weapons into OSRs to begin with, and we'll just see where it goes from there. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this ramble video. Sorry it was so long. Tried to make it a little bit shorter, but that's how it goes. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this. Hopefully you guys can give me your opinions down in the comments below. I will go through and read them. I will comment on them as well. And we'll just have to wait till next week until the blog post comes out. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video.